Alex Jones, AMA, if killing a fetus while committing a crime is a homicide, why is abortion legal? Well, that shows the double standard that if someone had intent to attack a woman who also had a baby in her, then it kind of divides up and presumes that it's a human because the woman may have wanted to have the child, so her intention that it was a human makes it a human.
Yeah, it reminds me of something someone told me once. I think it was Harlan, the guy who owned Brave New Books here in Austin a while back. But he told me it's like if the definition of death is the stoppage of brain activity, then how come the opposite's not the definition of life?
Exactly, and let's just be honest about it. And I've said this, the media always attacks us because they take any sign of weakness as a sign of weakness, as a sign of strength. I've paid for abortions back when I was a teenager and didn't know what was going on, and the girlfriend's mad at you and says, give me $300 or whatever, or I learned about it. And I'm very sad about that now, and I repent, and God forgives me, okay? And it's not like I get out of jail free card. I can feel in my gut, in my spirit, that I didn't intend it, it wasn't meant, God understands, and it is a lesser spiritual crime than shooting, your 3-year-old in the head because you're a devil worshiper. You know it's a baby, you love the baby, you do it. We're lied to, we're babies ourselves, it happens. I'm not judging women that have done it. I'm not judging men. I understand people get in bad situations. You can't pay your bills. They tell you it's not a baby. You don't know what to do. I've been there. But if we don't value life, we don't value ourselves. And so if we can't ban partial birth, they don't tell women that on average they'll pay you $100,000 and give you a job for a year to just have the baby. It's like a surrogate. Women know you can make $100,000 having somebody's baby. Did you know that the adoptions are, even if black, whatever, they go, nobody wants black babies. BS, okay? And my family has adopted minority babies, and not just my parents, but other family. I'm not going to, and it's not some white signaling virtue thing. I don't even want to have to use that here. It's just the truth. I mean, I was brought up with family that, I'd have Ku Klux Klan walk up to us in the grocery store in East Texas and tell my grandmother, F you, N-word lover. And that's why I get pissed off when a bunch of people at CNN, weaponized media, call me a white supremacist. You don't want to punch them upside the head. That's a load of crap, and you know it. You are doing what the KKK does, race-based stuff, and it makes me mad. But getting back to this, if we don't take care of our babies, then we don't have any future. And I get the fact, well, sometimes there's rape or sometimes there's incest, but those are less than 0.5%. So, okay, well, let's have a waiver for that. But that's not what this is about. It is about Margaret Sanger saying we want to put abortuaries in Hispanic and black neighborhoods to kill subhumans. I didn't call them subhumans. She did. Now, the Mexicans and Hispanics are smart enough not to kill their kids. And I don't mean that bad against the black folks. The Hispanics weren't held as captives as blacks were, and then let off the plantation right into a Margaret Sanger death camp. In fact, let's see if we can cue that up. I forget her name, Miss Parker. They've got these white Southern Democrats grilling her, going, where'd you get that? Somebody else tell you how to talk like that, black lady? It's the most, you know about making me piss. I'm not going to say what I want to do with Congressman Cohen and others going, you watch yourself, lady, up here saying abortion's racist. You know that's not true. They're pissed off because, man, let me tell you something. I didn't get around racists till I got around Democrats. And let me tell you, when they let the blinds down and they get the whiskey out, they are it is, I don't want to talk about it. But let me tell you something. I don't need to look down on people, whether they be poor white people, poor Hispanics, poor blacks, whatever, to look down on them so I feel big. The difference is you get a big giant mass of racist Mexicans or blacks or whatever hating me because I'm white, I'll tell them go to hell right back. That's what we're talking about, is justice and reality and being right before God. Now, we don't know this lady's first name because they only say it in the deal, but she destroys these two Democrat congressmen who are so arrogant and treat this woman who has such dignity and will. And she's telling the truth, and they act like we never heard it was racist to kill all the black babies, 52%. Tell us, lady, who told you how to talk like that? Because you're a black lady and you don't know how to talk. Racist scum. Here it is.
Suggest I'm disingenuous shows your ignorance or your absolute inability to deal with Congress people the way they should.
Ms. Parker, you brought a comparison between slavery and abortion, And as far as I recall, that's the first of that type of testimony that I have seen before this committee or any committee. Is that an original thought on your part? Have you had others that index the same comparison? How did this come about?
Others have looked at it as well. And in fact, when you put the Dred Scott decision next to the Roe v. Wade decision, they read almost verbatim.
The Sanger said we can't ship them back, kill them.
Something that was brought up earlier, if I may, when it comes to mixing the abortion issue with the challenges that we face in many of our hard-hit communities. I feel it disingenuous that the issues of Medicaid would come up and other opportunities for us to readdress what has happened and broken down in our most distressed zip codes, the way that Planned Parenthood specifically targets these particular zip codes with abortion. Abortion is the leading cause of death in the Black community today. Since Roe v. Wade was legalized, 20 million humans have been killed inside of the womb of Black women. And then on Halloween, Planned Parenthood tweets out that the Black women are safest if they abort their child rather than bring it to term. To the gentleman from Texas,
your kids are worthless.
Margaret Sanger, the founder of
Garbage.
Planned Parenthood, I think that it is important that we put in record that the needs of those that are most vulnerable in society cannot be addressed with abortion. Abortion feeds a narrative that women are victims, that they have no control over their sexual impulses. And as a result of this narrative being forced down into our hardest hit communities, we're seeing now recklessness in sexual activity, and marriage has collapsed. In the 50s, 70% of Black adults were married.
Yep.
Today, that number is 30%. This is causing a lot more social pathologies
Which
that have to
it's
be
designed
addressed
to
through
do.
different types of legislation, not the heartbeat bill. The heartbeat bill is to protect the innocent.
Chair, I recognize the gentleman from Tennessee, the ranking member.
Thank you. Firstly, we're in filler time waiting for somebody to come testify.
Good
I would
pause.
ask.
We're in filler time. You don't even get to speak up here. Get me somebody else. I'm Congressman Cohen. Get this Black woman out of here. What the hell's her problem? Back it up. Listen. And this is the same guy that said we were lying about the Emergency Centers Establishment Act that he authored and wrote for FEMA camps for Americans, which is public. And he looked at Jesse Ventura and went, I never heard of that. And they go, here's your bill. And he goes, oh, that bill. I mean, and then Cohen is the one. I'm not going to even get into I'm not supposed to get into the behind the scenes stuff. This guy's a monster. Let's go back to this thug.
To come testify, I would ask that we allow Ms. Jayapal to do filler as well as the chair. And I'd also like to say that I am not disingenuous about anything I say about Medicaid or Medicare or LIHEAP or SNAP programs. And to suggest I'm disingenuous shows your ignorance or your absolute...
We gonna get you, Black woman. You shut your mouth. Back it up. Hey, listen, you gonna shut your mouth. Who gonna get your baby? I mean, this is literally like The Color Purple, but for real. And when you know this is their party, it's who they are. I mean, it is incredible.
And notice how they get so nasty and defensive against people who are well-spoken and articulate.
Oh, he's pissed.
Yeah, this reminds me of
he
the
hates
Corey
me,
Feldman
too.
thing as well.
Let me tell you, I can tell you behind the scenes what Cohen is something else. He had a Homeland Security investigation on True TV and shut the show down. And I can't tell you this stuff that happened. I mean, they tell you this guy's a piece of work. But that was like 5 years ago. They have nothing now. We've overrun this guy. Here, let's play this punk. Here it is.
Medicare or LIHEAP or SNAP programs. And to suggest I'm disingenuous shows your ignorance or your absolute inability to deal with Congress people the way they should. I believe in those issues, and I think they're proper, and to say I'm disingenuous is just wrong, and I expect an apology.
I was even talking to him. Because he starts talking about Margaret Sanger and the Democrats and the KKK. I mean, it's time to crap your drawers.
Yeah, it's this whole elitism about this guy. I mean, just his last statement basically articulates his whole speech. You know, it's like he expects an apology. It's all about him. He's the right. He's God. You know, he has all the knowledge.
Let me tell you, and I've had Black Genocide Network on, pastors on, all of it. I remember when I would go out and cover abortion protests, and then I'd get confronted at the local TV station, radio station, and local Black liberal preachers would come over and say, Alex, listen, I like you, but I know, there's too many Black babies. Nobody wants to adopt them. Stop doing coverage of this. This happened like more than 10 times. Because I was ignorant. I mean, I learned this stuff on my own. And I'd say, excuse me? I mean, because I knew the numbers. There's like more people wanting to adopt black babies than there are black babies getting killed. And they'd say, you shut up. Nobody wants those. You know, I'm not getting to say it because many of y'all say I said it. But the racist stuff. And then we have videos of abortion doctors going, nobody wants the black babies. Black, Asian doctors, you know, that's just who they are. And you're like, there's like a cult of black people that rule over the black neighborhoods. And that's what a lot of people have talked about in the black community, who literally are like KKK, and they know it. And they hate black people. And they know, I mean, man, you talk about sick. And then they call black folks that don't want to use drugs or don't want to be evil, who want to be successful, they call them the Uncle Toms because they want to keep control of them.
Yeah, not to mention all the intelligence agencies that run like the hip hop to prison pipeline, you know, who also influence the inner city. And that's why you don't see the inner city. You don't see families anymore because they're all manipulated by, the globalists.
And the model they've used on the black community is the model for everybody. Let's go to more questions. Great point. The children's Super Blue bubblegum flavor, all natural, fluoride free, iodine / colloidal silver toothpaste is back in. That's been sold out for 3 months. Sign up for auto ship, get an additional 10% off, cancel anytime.